This is Tiffany with Big Island Now, and I am here with Dr. Martell at Hilo Medical Center. How you
Yes,
doing?
good afternoon.
Good. So I wanted to chat with you today because I know that Hilo Medical Center has been doing early treatment for COVID-19 patients, and I was hoping you could give me a little more information about it and explain how long you've been doing it and what the success has been for it.
I would be glad to. So I'm the Chief Medical Officer here at Hilo Medical Center. I have been for the last 5 years. And in that role, I'm heavily involved in quality of care initiatives. And during this COVID outbreak, this pandemic, Hilo Medical Center has obviously been deeply involved in trying to make sure it provides the best possible care to patients in the community.
Yeah.
We were completely caught off guard by the outbreak at Yukio Okutsu Veterans Home. And everybody knows that story. It was a real tragedy. And as we were looking at that whole situation, we felt that maybe there was something that we could do better. And I sat down with my providers and we said, the problem that we can readily identify is that once older patients start having symptoms, they're really quite sick, much sicker than you would think just looking at the overall appearance. And that if we had any chance of doing better, we would have to start early.
Yeah.
So we put together an early treatment program. We were in the process of developing it and getting additional input when Life Care had its outbreak. I had already reached out to Dr. Johnson at Life Care Center for some input, and he contacted me and said, look, we're starting here at Life Care. Can you bring this online faster? Can you help us out quickly? And much credit to nursing services and the physicians and the entire team at Hilo. We said, yeah, we can do this. So over a course of about a month, we brought in 11 Life Care residents who were either without symptoms yet or with very mild symptoms who had just recently been diagnosed. And we gave them a 5-day treatment program. All 11 tolerated the program well. All 11 returned to Life Care Center, and they did have a little problem with loss of appetite in the days after they got back to Life Care Center. But after that, they've adjusted and they're doing just fine.
That's great. When did you kind of start this program, and when did you take in these 11 patients from Life Care?
During the month of October, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're now a couple weeks out after the last one graduated our program, and they seem to be doing well. Life Care is luckily now COVID-free, and they're actually looking at reopening their facility to admit patients. They did unfortunately have a large outbreak. I believe they had close to 55 or maybe a few more residents who got sick, and they did tragically lose 8 of their patients who were in residence there. So I'm glad we're through that.
Yeah. Has this treatment, is it something that you've been able to use with community members, or since it's since Life Care is an controlled environment, you were able to identify those individuals who may have been more appropriately outfitted for the program?
So a couple of the things with Life Care, which is we certainly wouldn't deny care to an appropriate community member,
Mm-hmm.
but Life Care Center was testing their residents every 3 days or so. So we could find people immediately before they got symptomatic and treat them quickly. That does not usually happen in the community. Usually the testing is done once people already have symptoms.
Yeah.
And the other thing about Life Care Center is we had a place that these folks could go back to when treatment was complete. So we felt comfortable giving them the treatment, knowing that they would be under ongoing surveillance when we sent them back to the long-term care center.
Right. So what is this treatment? I know that you and I have spoken in the past about what it is, and you said that it's not a new treatment. It's just something that you're implementing earlier in the process of someone being ill, correct?
And that's exactly right. These are all the treatments that we routinely give our patients. Consists of convalescent plasma, which is plasma from patients who have recovered from COVID. Consists of an antiviral medicine called remdesivir, and then a group of vitamins and minerals, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C. Interestingly enough, we started this program roughly 3 days before President Trump got his COVID diagnosis. And the early aggressive treatment they gave President Trump was extremely similar to what we were giving our residents.
Oh,
so
wow.
Nothing but the best for our long-term care patients.
Is this something that you and HMC believe that could be replicated in the community if there was a situation were to arise where, I mean, because we do community testing, so if there was a situation where you guys could identify people who would work for this program, is that something that could be replicated in the community?
That has been something that's been widely discussed here. The physicians and the nurses, particularly the nurses that are on the front line with COVID patients, say that it is so much easier to take care of these patients early, that they would like to see this utilized as much as we possibly can.
And how could we make that happen?
That it's a matter of continuing our outreach. We are now in contact with a lot of the community-based care homes, and hopefully they will identify their patients early, and then with the emergency department, it would just be a matter of getting them tuned into the fact that our high-risk elderly patients might need early attention and aggressive treatment like this.
And so this early treatment is specifically for elderly patients, right?
It's really, really, truly for our at-risk group, which is older with pre-existing conditions. So it would be residents of nursing homes, care homes, older community-based patients with diabetes, with significant obesity, with heart disease, or underlying malignancies and other severe diseases.
Okay. And I know there's been discussion, but has there been a way, have you guys found a path to get this program out there to the community? Have you found that path? Is it just through the outreach?
Yeah, aside from the outreach that we're currently doing, I don't think that there is another pathway.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So, but you've been happy with the results?
I've been happy with the results. Life Care Center is ecstatic about the results. Okay, nursing here is really happy with the results. Keep in mind that this is a somewhat unique program, that there are not a bunch of other facilities elsewhere in the country that are doing it. But I think that that's also a reflection of the fact that we truly have a unique community here, that, you know, the hospital feels responsible for all of our our residents, and particularly our kapuna. And so we are willing to break down some of the barriers that exist in other communities elsewhere in order to get stuff like this done.
Right, right. Does it surprise you that your program is pretty unique to the rest of the nation at this point? Have you found anything that kind of looks like what you've been doing?
Well, the answer is no, except that I know that it's being done elsewhere in one-off situations like the president. So it's not a completely foreign concept. It's just one that's not been done in a systemic way that I know of.
Oh, okay. I know that your time is limited now there, right? You're retiring. Is that correct?
I will, yes.
What was that?
Yes,
Yes.
I actually call it graduating, but
You're graduating.
yes.
So what is your hope with this program before you leave? What are your plans, or what do you hope to see with it? What do you want it to do?
Well, let's talk about hope and realistic expectations. My hope would be that we would never have to use it again.
Yeah.
Because people would mask and social distance, and we'll have the vaccine out, and everybody will behave themselves and roll up their sleeves and get their shots. Okay, that would be my hope. My expectation is that my team will have this tool in their toolbox, and they will use it as appropriate in the future, even if I'm not here.
And as far as the current conditions of our island, what's the pattern that you're seeing COVID do at this point on our island?
Okay, so right now what we're seeing is sort of low-grade community spread.
Mm-hmm.
It's individuals to individuals with occasional clusters. And the low-grade community spread, not a big deal. That can be contained. But just as soon as you get a super spreader event like Okutsu or Life Care or the cluster in South Kona, then you have problems. And that's when you need to be ready.
Has the reopening of travel been a concern in your eyes?
Well, I think it was a concern up front, which is why there's so much diligence around it.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been a problem to this point? I don't think so.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
Awesome.